There are police officers, for example, who were employed very recently, maybe 5 years ago or so, in less than 5 years, and they have risen through the ranks already. And your question is, what criteria did they use when there have been people, Kelvin, that have served not only long years, but also that are competently qualified, some of them with 2 degrees. They have still remained in ranks of constable. So you start from there. You do a human resource audit. How did Chifokolo find himself to be superintendent? What happened? Where are the credentials? Where are the papers? That's a starting point. But also, within the police service itself, they have the intelligence unit. And this is now at the disposal of the state. And these are matters that can be discussed, and it's very easy to fish out who was a criminal planted in police service masquerading as a police officer. It's very easy. There are all these institutions of the state that can avail this information. So that is not an unattainable task. It is something that is doable, and it can be done. Otherwise, if this is not done, then we will not have changed anything in our governance structure.
Now, let's move our discussion away from the Atembos. I'm sure you've clarified, and very soon, if the Atembos are still around, we'll be able to see them.
They are around. It's not even a question of if. I'm very sure they are around.
Let's talk about the new administration, the new dawn. You've talked about civil society organizations that some were, championing the agenda of the ruling party then. What is it that you expect to see now that there is a change of government from your colleagues in the civil society organization, in order for us not to have a similar, experience where civil society organizations became campaigners for the ruling party, they became defenders of the ruling party? What is it that we expect to see now in the new dawn when it comes to civil society organization?
I think at the end of the day, I really cannot give a blanket recommendation that this is what should happen, because at the end of the day, Comrade Chifokolo, it boils down to the character and nature of that particular civil society entity we are talking about. I talked about those that were praise singers for the PF, but you also know that there were some civil society organizations that stood firm, even when it was not fashionable to do so, that spoke for the truth, that spoke with the people of Zambia, even when it was not fashionable to do so. So we cannot say that it was the environment which made it difficult for civil society to do their work properly. I think it comes down to just individuals. Maybe what we need to do is to have takeaway lessons. What takeaway lessons are we, having from the kind of discourse we had? I think one of the biggest takeaway lessons for me is that it is always good to stand with the people and to stand for the truth. It is painful, yes. It comes at a cost, yes. Wait until the deck and the ACC begins to fish these people one by one. You will see how PF will disintegrate. There will be chaos, Baba and Gehen. That is what is going to happen to the PF. So if they need to survive that, they need to carry out a genuine general conference where the grassroots, the members of PF, are going to do self-reflection and then usher in a new crop of leadership. But more importantly, the PF also must apologize to the people of Zambia. Now, to lose with 1 million votes is not child's play. You can lose an election with 100,000 votes, with the 500,000 votes, it's okay. 1 million votes. Technically, what that means is that out of, if you had 1 million people to vote, only 1 million people to vote, all the 1 million Chifokolo vote for you and 0 votes for me. That's what it means technically. That is rejection, which means that people were so bitter by the PF. And that kind of rejection cannot take 2 years to be forgotten. It's a generational pain. You see, PF wounded the citizens. They divided us on tribal lines. A slap can easily be forgotten, but words spoken, when the soul is injured, it takes time for you to forget that. So the PF must apologize to the people of Zambia.
As we conclude, you said that if the UPND won't be careful, they will just rule this country for one term, which is 5 years. What is it that, what are some of the mistakes that they can do? I know that you're not a UPND member, you are a civil society organization, and the things that you are bringing out, you are speaking on behalf of the Zambian people, which they saw the PF doing, which did not sit with them well, and come August were voted out.
Yeah. I think the first thing which President Hichilema is already doing is to talk to us. Just talk to us. Just talk to us.
Which the PF were not doing?
No. President Edgar Lungu would only talk at the airport when the plane is taking off, about takeoff. And when he spoke there, it was either Mponto or he would throw shade at another person. Remember the Phiri? It was at the airport.